came up with 3 different ways to start it. It took me nearly 3 hours, and I sat there at 3 o'clock and thought, why not start again and use the number 3 to help me, trying to keep it simple. Firstly, there are 3 things I can promise about my speech. Number 1, I'm probably going to cry. It's going to happen, so I'm probably going to have to accept it. Number 2, I might try and make you laugh. And number 3, Lucy's probably going to look at heaven at some point and say, oh God. Thank you very much. Before I carry on, I shall probably ask for a huge round of applause and a toast for how amazing and beautiful my new little wife is today. It's just going to be football songs, right? And obviously, we both want to say a huge, huge thank you to everybody for coming and sharing our very special day. There are 3 more people in Lucy's family that I want to say thank you to. I want to say a special thank you to Lucy's mum, Sandra. Thank you for raising such a kind, caring, intelligent, beautiful young lady, and I couldn't be more honoured to marry her today. Thank you for supporting us both through our journey together so far. And I know I can be quite a big character and sometimes a bit difficult to understand all the time, but thank you for being patient and caring and making me feel like I now have a second place I can call my family home. We've got a little thank you. So, secondly, Mark, Sandra's husband and Lucy's stepdad. He's been an ever-present role in my life since me and Lucy met, always offering to help me around the house with my poor DIY skills, and helping me, let's say DIY, there you go, there's the DIY skills, and always lending me a drill when I need one. I knew I should remember this to someone. Most notably, Mark joined me and the lads on a day at the pub to watch England in the Euros. And without going into too much detail, Mark drank so much, he argued with me for at least 5 minutes saying, I can't believe we lost that, how could we lose to Wales? To which I replied, Mark, it's half time. Jack, Lucy's brother, is a well-mannered, intelligent and charismatic young man. Until he has a drink and all goes out the window. All jokes aside though, Jack is my new little brother and I'm very much looking forward to see you growing to the man I know you can be. Right, so now I'm calling this as it goes on the tier section because this is where I'll start to mumble and bumble and whatever else. So on to my family. Most of my family are sitting over the back there and obviously some of the table with me now. My brother Daniel is here today. And I'm really glad you can make it. We don't get to see each other very often. When we do, it's like we see each other every day, and that's what true family is. One of the bridesmaids today. She's been my rock over the past few years, always dependable to help me in a crisis, cheer me up if I'm sad, and have a right go with me when I rightfully deserve it. Becky and I have many stories I can share with you, but one that most sticks out in my mind is when I was about 8 or 9, and we decided to go into Bletchley Town Centre together. We got on a bus, and we were chatting away, and I happened to mention it was just us 2 and an old lady on the bus, and I didn't understand why it was so quiet. Becky said, what old lady? It's just the 2 of us. And we continued to argue, and Becky convinced me that she couldn't see the old lady, and that she must be a ghost that only I could see. Needless to say, by the time we arrived in Bletchley, Becky was crying with laughter, and she still likes to remind me of this every 6 months or so. Page 2, where have we gone? Her partner Matt, who is sitting here, is always on hand to look at me disappointedly when I suggest we play 5 or Blue at family gatherings. But despite his clearly rubbish taste in music, he is a lovely bloke, and I couldn't pick a better man for my sister who spent her life with. Oh, yeah, I didn't get the text, no, sorry man. So my mum, or Lozzie, as I sometimes like to call her, a woman who until a couple of years ago still didn't know how to put spaces in between each word on a text message. Meaning you had to decide for each message she sent you, and it took a while. You're the most amazing mum in the world, and you have helped me through so much over the years. Might have to sing it, it might be easier. Guided me and supported me, and more often than not, cleaned my room, cleaned up after me, so my room was such a mess. Thank you for everything you have given me, and now us, and always be so grateful and proud to be your son. And you've got I'm still going. It's going on. BY, or Brian, someone who's sitting right here, someone who could be referred to as our next door neighbour, my mum's friend, the person my mum has tea with every evening, or the man my mum goes away with. There are many more things that I could say, and I'm not sure 100% which label to use, but I want to thank you for everything you've done for us, helping my mum around the house, and most importantly, making her smile. You're right. You can pick what you want to call it, this, I'm sure you on to the bridesmaids. So I think we should all raise a toast when I get my drink to the glamorous bridesmaids and thank them all for all of their help today and throughout the years. Cheers. I want to thank all of my ushers and groomsmen for everything they've done for me. Yeah. Can we get a round of applause? I feel like we should. I want to thank you all for so much, but three things that stick out. Supporting me through this entire process, because I know I've been a little bit of a nightmare. Being there for me in their individual ways. Each of them have a different role in my life, I suppose. And finally, not actually getting kicked out of Wetherspoons last night. Just to tell the story, we went into Aylesbury to Wetherspoons for quiet drinking some food, and they decided to cheer and sing football songs, as you probably heard this evening, and we were on our second warning, so well done for hanging on there. Then obviously, my best man Grant, a man who's more like a brother, made sure I was here, ready for today, pause in case I cry, I actually wrote it, who organised the best stag do last year that anyone could wish for. His speech, I'm sure, will be one to remember, and I plan to look away at several points, as I can only imagine what he's going to say. Also, a special mention to Grant and Jenny's son, George, who came in earlier down the line. Big round of applause to George. He's such a cheeky chap with a lovely smile, and he managed to get through the whole ceremony without a code brown alert, so well done. There are so many people that I'd like to thank today, and I probably haven't got enough time to talk about you all. I won't get to the end of the speech without crying too much, but on a serious note, thank you to everybody that's helped with everything, making things. Becky made the table plan, my Aunt Carol back there did the chair covers, obviously both our mums who have helped us with everything. Just thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Woo! Round of applause, guys. So, on to my wife. I know. Lucy and I first met on a dating app called Tinder. She swiped right first, even though she won't admit it. We began speaking, and I suppose the rest is history. Cheers. I'm only joking, So Lucy and I live at home with our dog Keith, who most of you would have seen, met, or seen on loads of social media. Lucy does most of the cooking, even though I'm the better chef. Although, now I'm married, I'll start that again. Lucy's the best chef in the world, far better than me, so she does most of the cooking at home. We like to spend most of our nights in front of the telly watching some kind of dark murder programme that Lucy's downloaded. When we're not at home, we like to go out for dinner. Indian or Harvester is always a winner. And spend time with our family and close friends. In case you didn't know, I'm a huge football fan. And Lucy doesn't struggle to remind me how it's only a game and Enkelon's a shit. Cheers. Lucy's helped me out with a lot of things in the few years that I've known her. She's a calm and calculated person I can always rely on in any situation. She's fiery and honest, even if she knows I know what she has to say. But most importantly, she's my best friend and all in me. I've never met anyone like Lucy before, and although sometimes I do sit there and think, what should I say before I say it? And then I usually say the wrong thing, and she turns around and has a go at me for it. I wait about 30 minutes, and then I apologise, and we go, it's alright. She looks gorgeous today, as I knew she would, and I wrote that down before, so I'm not lying, I promise. And I can't believe how lucky I am standing in front of you all. So please stand and join me in raising a glass to the love of my life, my new wife, Mrs. Twilley. And just before Grant passes out with fear, there's not really anything I could say without crying too much. But cheers, Dad. I love you.
Here he goes.
First of all, my parents always taught me that if you haven't got anything nice to say about anyone, then you shouldn't say anything at all. So, cheers. Old but gold. Old but gold. Keep going. First of all, I'd like to raise a toast. Ladies and gentlemen, if there's anybody here today who's feeling nervous, anxious and queasy at the thought of what lies ahead, it's probably because you've just married John Twilley. I'd just like to say that I am nervous about giving this speech. In fact, this must be about the third time I've stood up today from a warm seat with pieces of paper in my hand. To those of you that don't know me yet, my name is Grant. I'd like to thank John for finally confirming that after all these years of friendship, that I am actually the best man. I've actually looked forward to this moment for a long time. It will be the first time I've been able to speak for 5 minutes in John's presence without being interrupted. Now, I'm not saying that John is loud, but he does seem to break a fundamental rule of physics, because with John, you very definitely hear him before you see him. Looking around this packed room today, it's surprising just how far some people are prepared to travel for a free lunch. It's a good job John didn't choose the menu, otherwise you'd all been very disappointed to have travelled all this way for a moody kebab from Great Holm, washed down by a half-opened can of Pepsi. Page 2. I've never been best man before, so I started where most people start when they're a bit stuck and they go on the internet for some ideas. I started Googling away, and after a couple of hours I found some good stuff. A few hours later, and I found some really good stuff. But then I remembered I was supposed to be looking for best man tips. And had to delete the history before doing that. Now, I am supposed to use this opportunity to recall embarrassing moments to ridicule John, but Lucy did give me a list of do's and don'ts that she'd like me to stick to. Number 1. Don't mention any ex-girlfriends. Not a problem. Cheryl here is well beyond a puncture repair kit. Bear with. Number 2, don't sweat. Number 3, don't tell any rude jokes. Number 4, don't tell any lies. Number 5, don't let John sing. You know how much he loves a boy band. Don't mention the TV show. Don't let John drink beer. Don't let John drink large glasses of vodka and Coke. Don't let John drink full stop. And number 10, finally, do tell positive stories about John. I still remember when John told me he met Lucy, he was instantly smitten with her. And all he went on about for days was how they'd been texting and finally arranged to meet up at a restaurant. As luck would have it, I was also local that night in a different restaurant, so John came up with a plan. If he got there and it was all going pear-shaped or he wanted to leave, he would ring me, I'd ring him back, he'd pretend there was an emergency and I would pick him up. And now here we are years later on their wedding day. All I can say is, it's lucky my phone was on silent, and then I had 36 missed calls, 9 texts, and 15 voicemails from John. Obviously, there are certain duties a best man I have to do. Firstly, I'd like to thank the dairy on behalf of Lucy and John, especially Holly, the kitchen, and the bar staff. You've all been fantastic, and I truly think John and Lucy will be forever in your debt. And at £4.50 a pint, I think the rest of us will be as well. I'd like to thank John and Lucy on behalf of myself, the bridesmaids and the groomsmen for giving us all the chance to take a special day with you. It's a real honour. I'd like to thank the bridesmaids for not only doing a great job in the ceremony earlier today, but also for helping Lucy this morning, getting her ready, calming her nerves. And I'm sure she'll be thankful for them every time today that she needs to go to the loo. It goes without saying, they all look fantastic, but obviously not as much as Lucy. Let's face it, it's her wedding day. She planned it, kind of a, you can look nice, but not as nice as me. No doubt everyone here today thought the same two things as she walked in. Firstly, how beautiful she looked, and secondly, that John is massively punching above his weight. Which reminds me, it's a lot easier whilst everyone's together. John's old landlord has been on the phone and has asked me any exes or any ex-partners who still have a key to his old place to please return them now, as he's no longer on the market. So if you could just bring him up, that'd be great.
Ollie on free.
Now that's out the way, time for the good stuff. At this point, you're probably expecting me to sing John's praises. However, I can't sing and I don't like lying. So for this, I've had to do some digging about the story and I put them in this envelope. Lost it? John, I started a group chat without you knowing. We exchanged stories. John had trouble pronouncing words at a young age. One of his first sentences as a kid was silly cow, lololololologs. He also had a dummy until he was about 6 and chocolate milk from a bottle with a teat until about the age of 7. With this in mind, I got you one of these.
Wedding favour.
What do you make? The hair. John's had several awful haircuts over the years. We've ranged from a bowl cut to a number 2 all over with the customary naughty's night tick on the back. All the way to the... Thankfully, they're all in the past, and now it's just a touch on the grey side. This is the man who used to get his mum to pick him up from school at lunchtime and take him home for a poo, so he didn't have to use the school toilets. John's love for sport, particularly football, has been ripe since a young age. At school, we both played for the same Sunday League team. John once refused to go in goal as a goalkeeper because it was too muddy and he didn't want to get wet. He won several Oscars for his performances. One of my personal favourites was getting his hands stamped on and walking off the pitch limping. He also once won an award at the end of season due, which he straight away dropped, smashed, bearing in mind he was our goalkeeper. The moped era, enough said. John once attempted an all-nighter when he was 15, attempted being the key word as he ended up calling the rain at 2 a.m, confessing to everything and asking her to take him to McDonald's for a Big Mac and home to bed. And of course, the classic moment, getting run over outside school by his own mum. Lorraine, quite how you managed to miss a 6 foot tall, strapping geezer like John, still to this day is beyond me. Just a last message here to read out from John's football team. To Lucy, apologies we couldn't all be here today. Good luck with John. We found him useless in most positions, but wishing you all the best for tonight. I must say though, John, just how lucky you are. You will leave here today with a wife that is warm, loving and caring. And Lucy, you will leave here today having gained a lovely dress and a beautiful bouquet of flowers. We all know how much John loves Snapchat. The app's pretty much open constantly on his phone. So if it's alright with you all, I'd like everyone to stand up and play a quick game. So if you could all please stand. If all the ladies in the room could put their hands on their head with their hands about 6 inches apart. All the ladies above your heads about 6 inches apart. 6 inches, Amy. And all the men, hands above your head but hands together. And that's great.
You've done this before.
Together. Boys.
Perfect. That's photographic evidence of a standing ovation. You can all sit back down. As I'm coming to the end now, I must ask everyone to raise a glass at those who could not be with us here today. One man in particular was very close to our hearts, John and Becky's dad, Jeff. Jeff would have been very proud of you both today, but he's more likely probably wondering how John managed to bag such a lovely girl like Lucy. I'm sure he would join me in saying that marriage isn't about finding someone you can live with, but finding the one you can't live without. With that said, I'd like to be the first person to wish John and Lucy all the happiness in the world. On a side note to that, hope John and Lucy enjoy their honeymoon in North West Wales. At least that's where I assume they're going, because when I asked John where they were off to after the wedding, he told me he was going to Bangor for a fortnight. Ladies and gents, it gives me great pleasure to invite you all to raise your glasses in a toast to the bride and groom. We wish them well for the future and hope they enjoy a long and happy marriage together. To John and Lucy. Now someone come and clear this mess up.